So hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with another The Hunter Call of the Wild video. Now today's video is going to be going over EW's latest live stream and giving you guys a full recap of all the most important and best bits from that stream. And at the end of the video we are also going to take a look at the dev diary that was released yesterday evening about the Waterfowl rework. Now we're starting off here in one of the outposts on Revontuli coast, and it was quite cool to see all the equipment there sort of set out instead of just the sort of static lockers. It just looked a lot nicer and a lot cooler in my opinion. So we are going to be taking a look at a lot of different species in this video, and we're going to be kicking off with a species of goose which Beard actually found in the forest resting, and we got to hear them making a hissing alarm call. So I'm going to let you guys hear that and then we will continue talking.
What's going down? It's a new map. We got a Greylag goose hanging around in the forest right there. Check it out. First look at them.
So there you will have got to hear the hissing alarm call of the Greylag goose. And as far as I know, that was her actual first look at them. And I think it's so cool to actually just see the geese being on the ground. It's something we're not really used to seeing with, you know, the Canada geese back on Hirschfelden when that was the only species we had. Occasionally you'd see them once they landed, but you wouldn't just find them resting or anything like this. So this is really, really cool. And that alarm call is just so perfect for a goose. You know, everyone knows geese are, you know, they hiss. It's a thing. Everyone knows that geese hiss. That's why some people call them cobra geese and stuff like that. But really, really cool. Really pleased to see that. Now, moving on to something that a lot of people, including myself, have been really desperate to see. That is the raccoon dogs. And oh my gosh, these guys are stunning. So there was a female there, which you will have just seen fleeing, and then there was this level 5 male. Now, these guys do max at level 9. They are a predator species, and think of them more as like a fluffy fox than as a raccoon. Other than the markings on the face, they're not really that similar to raccoons. They are called raccoon dogs, but yeah, they're not very similar to raccoons. And you'll actually get some information here in the codex. So the raccoon dog, also known as the tanuki in Japan, is a small canid native to Asia. It was introduced into the USSR for its fur, but is now rapidly spreading westward across Europe as an invasive species. They are omnivorous. They feed on a wide variety of small prey and fruits, disrupting local ecosystems. They live in mated pairs or small familial groups with strong bonds. They hunt primarily at night, relying on their excellent sense of smell to find food. This nocturnal lifestyle, small size and skittish nature makes them hard to track down and hunt. Raccoon dogs are named for their superficial resemblance to raccoons, but the two species are not closely related. And as you can probably quite clearly see by that image, they do have the very similar facial markings to your normal raccoon that you would find on Mississippi Acres. But other than that, they are a lot more fox-like in appearance. They've got the longer legs, the longer tail. So I like to think of them as if you thought about crossing a fox and a raccoon, this is probably what you'd get. Yeah, these guys are really cool, and similar to foxes, like I said, they will max at level 9. And they are just absolutely beautiful. Honestly, one of the best models for a small predator in-game. I honestly believe that. And we're going to get to see it here in the harvest screen a bit more. Just look at that fur detail. How cool and realistic is that model? I am actually blown away. When I saw these, I was, honestly, when I thought about raccoon dogs being on Finland, I thought they'd be a cool species, but I didn't think I'd like them as much as I actually do now we actually have gotten to see one. They are really, really beautiful, and you're going to get to see this one and also another one that Jaxie shot, so I will include the clips of both of those into this video. They are really cool. I am very, very excited to go and hunt these guys. And I do think they'll probably be a nighttime drinking species. If they have drink zones, I'm kind of assuming they will. But with lynx having their drink zones removed, maybe they won't. But either way, I think these are going to be really, really fun to hunt with them being that smaller size. And yeah, they're just really, really cool looking animals, I think. And I think they've done a really good job of capturing that in-game. And just look at that sort of pose. I think these guys are really cool looking. Like I said, it's almost like a raccoon's face and markings on that bigger body of like a grey fox or something. Really, really beautiful. So actually, it wasn't a female. This is another male. And 6.7 scoring, but these were both level 5 males. So quite small when they max at level 9. And yeah, nowhere close to diamond, obviously being a level 5. But I still think they're really cool. And I'm really interested to see what the rares for these guys are going to look like. If there's albino and melanistic. Is there maybe piebalds? I'd be interested to see that. Maybe leucistic. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what rare varieties and common varieties there are for these guys. But now, moving on to another bird species. And once again, I have a clip with some audio for you guys to listen to.
Dogs, we've already shot them. But if we can get these birds to pick up... Yeah, baby. What was that? Wow, is that what they sound like in real life? That was awesome. Are you kidding me right now? That is freaking awesome. Where'd you go? All right, let's go pick this one up. There's more over there. We'll go get them.
So there you will have just got to hear some audio from the Willow Ptarmigans. Now, that audio is incredibly spot on and realistic to real life, and it had me very, very excited to go and chase these guys through the forests. I am super, super, super excited, and now we get to take a look at one of the models. These guys look absolutely awesome, and we're actually going to get to take a look at a couple of different sort of plumage types on these birds. One of them is actually a molting and is incredibly beautiful. But we're going to start off with this one here, and you can see it's very well camouflaged. This is a female with the brown plumage type, and they are just beautiful. Even as a female, this is really, really stunning, and just such fantastic modelling work from the artists. I really do have to take my hat off. They are just so, so well done. Now, this is a silver female, and I'm going to be intrigued as to how big the females can actually get, because as you can see the scoring there, so I'm going to be really curious how big these guys can actually get. Maybe these will be a species where males and females can have diamonds. I don't know. It would be cool to see. It would be cool if they can both make diamond. I always really enjoy that with species, because it gives you sort of more to hunt for. You can get like a diamond pair to go in the lodge, which I like doing with like the Gemsbok and stuff. I think it's cool. So yeah, that would be cool. But again, stunning, stunning bird. Very, very realistic looking. And again, it really seems like with Finland they have done a fantastic job of making things really realistic, and that pleases me so much. I love stuff like when they get the audio just right, and it really gives you that extra immersion, and I think they've done a fantastic job with this. Now we're going to have another little audio clip of another ptarmigan, and then we'll take a look at that one's model too.
Man, this guy. Ba-dow. There he is. Oh, he's... Oh, man. Oh, baby, this is a molting.
So, once again, absolutely fantastic audio, incredibly realistic. And we get our first look at a molting plumage type Willow Ptarmigan. Oh my gosh. How stunning is this bird. Just all of those different shades of brown mixed in with the white contrast, with the little red eyebrows. Just absolutely gorgeous. And if it's like pheasants, this will be a like uncommon / common plumage type. It's not going to be like a rare or anything. So imagine getting a diamond molting Willow Ptarmigan just as we could get diamond molting pheasants. I want one of these in my lodge so bad. Like, that is so incredibly gorgeous. I'm so pleased to see a ptarmigan with white feathers. I was really hoping we'd see some with the whiter feathers. It's just perfect in my head. I think that's just amazing. The audio, the way the bird looks, it's just fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous. Now, I'm going to take the opportunity here to mention something while we admire this stunning model. Jaxie did mention several times about the scoring for the birds. Now, Jaxie said that it might not be correct. However, if I'm looking at the Hunter Classic, which it does seem that they have moved towards the Hunter Classic in terms of certain things and certain scores, this wouldn't be inaccurate. This is kind of similar to the scoring in the Hunter Classic. And also, if we take a look at the scoring of the quail over on Mississippi Acres, they have very high scores too. So, I don't know if this is accurate scoring for these guys or not, but I really wouldn't be surprised if it is. Because it's based off of their weight, basically. That's how these birds are scored. And in the Hunter Classic, like I said, it's pretty much the same thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't change, but it sounds like there may be changes. I think it was all quite confusing. So I guess we will just have to wait and see on that one. But now let's move on, and we're going to take a look at a different species, which we have a couple different examples of. Unfortunately, they are all females, but we're now going to take a look at the western capercaillie. Now, like I said, these are females. Unfortunately, Jaxie didn't shoot any males. But once again, even the females show such incredible amounts of detail. I mean, just look at how much detail that is in these feathers. They don't go blurry as you go in. They stay with that insane amount of detail. And these guys are just so cool and so pretty. And like I've said before, these may very well be one of my favourite species in the entire game now. I absolutely love these guys in real life, and I've always wanted to see them in Call of the Wild because I thought they'd be such an incredibly cool species to actually go and hunt for. And the males are just incredible. They are feisty, they are beautiful, and just such an awesome bird. Now, you don't have to shoot these guys in the air. The only birds on Revontuli that you need to shoot in the air to get a score are the ptarmigan that we just took a look at. So the capercaillie, you don't need to shoot in the air. The grouse, you don't need to shoot in the air. And I believe you don't need to shoot the ducks or the geese in the air either, technically. Although I probably would anyway, just to make it a bit more sporting in most cases. But that's what we've been told, pretty much, is that the only ones that need to be shot in the air are the ptarmigan. Now, Beard, of course, shot these females in the air, which is obviously, of course, perfectly acceptable. You don't have to shoot them on the ground, but you don't have to shoot them in the air either. So if you want to do like a walk and stalk up on a group of them and then just take them out, it seems like that's perfectly acceptable. Now, something I love about the capercaillie models that they have done so perfectly are the beaks. And that's something that I always look at on capercaillie. The beak is such an incredible structure on them, I think, and it's like a big chunky beak, and they just look so perfectly well done on these models in game. I'm super happy. And of course they do have the fluffy trousers just like the ones in real life, so this is really cool. But as you can see here, this one was shot on the ground, this female was shot on the ground, and you still get the score. So that's a perfect example of what I was just talking about before. Now, we did get a very quick glimpse at some black grouse. There was a few males here. You can see one taking off there, but also some that were just fleeing along the ground. And these guys are so cool. The black grouse are absolutely stunning. You can see here, as they're running along, they have that very unique shape to their tail. And unfortunately, we didn't get to take a close look, as unfortunately none of the shots there hit, but it was really cool to see those species. Now, talking of audio, we have another audio clip, this time from a Hazel grouse. So I'll let you guys hear this next clip.
Oh, you little buggers. Oh, you little bugger. Where'd it go? I can't track him fast enough. There we go. Wow.
So there you go. You will have just heard the incredible audio for the Hazel grouse. Now, it sounded amazing to me, and I know Hosenfuhrer, who actually mods for EW and was in the chat, said that sounded good. Apparently the caller for the Hazel grouse doesn't sound incredibly realistic, but the calls from the actual birds themselves do sound really good, so I'm really super happy to actually hear that, and to me it sounded amazing. Now, taking a look at these guys, they're a little bit duller than perhaps the capercaillie or the black grouse, but I think these guys are really quite hidden beauties, because when you look at their feathers, they have all those shades of red and those beautiful patterns in their feathers. I think they're really, really stunning. And I actually really do like the Hazel grouse. I think they're really, really cool. And another cool species to be on this map, another brand new species. So yeah, really nice. This one actually scored gold as level 2, so I would expect these guys probably max at level 3 then. Again, Jaxiebeard was talking about the score there, saying he's not sure if the scoring is quite right, but it probably looks quite right to me based off of what we've seen, like I said, with the quail scoring, and also basing off scores of these kind of birds in the Hunter Classic for the ptarmigan, etc. It kind of lines up with all of that. But overall, another really, really beautiful model. From the underside especially, seeing all the white tones there mixed with the sort of red speckle feathers. Really, really stunning looking bird, actually, and a very, very cool bird, and one that I think is going to be a lot of fun to hunt here in the forests on Revontuli coast. Now, talking about geese and moving on to that subject, Jaxiebeard said hopefully next week we will get to take a closer look at the bean and Greylag geese. And also, hopefully, I would like to see the Canada geese as well. I'd expect them to show up at some point, because I'll be keen to see if the Canada geese have had a model rework similar to the mallards. So I'll be really keen to see that, and of course seeing the bean geese and the Greylag geese up close for the first time will be really cool. But as we're talking about waterfowl, let's now move on to the dev diary that I mentioned that got dropped yesterday, talking about the waterfowl rework. Now, I've pulled what I believe to be sort of the most important sections out of that dev diary so that we can take a look at them. So this first bit says, you're probably saying, that's fine, but what exactly is a waterfowl rework? Before we get into that, let's take a look at why the waterfowl and geese were lackluster. Based on user research, survey feedback, and bugs, we determined the following. The frequency of attraction is inconsistent. The selection of a bird's next need zone is random, making them unpredictable. This makes the time it takes to attract a group with decoys very inconsistent. Ducks change need zones frequently to mitigate the issue, but it's still a problem. Also, no feedback is given to the player once a group is attracted, and it can take a long time for that group to arrive and land. Shooting ducks and geese is too easy. Ducks and geese fly slowly and in a very predictable pattern, making them easy to shoot. This makes waterfowl hunting more of a repetitive grind than a skill-based activity with little variation. All ducks behave the same way. This lack of diversity makes them boring, and getting new duck species does not feel exciting for players. Flight patterns look unnatural, breaking immersion, as every bird behaves fundamentally the same. Ducks aren't bound to home ranges. Duck groups select their need zones randomly in real time and aren't tied to a specific home range. This makes them different from other animals and prevents players from stalking diamonds / rare fur variations, but it should say plumage variations, since spawned animals are not persistent. Ducks and geese work differently. Ducks and geese seem similar on the surface, but behave differently behind the scenes. This can make it difficult for players to understand the behaviour of either when learning the differences between them. So basically, that whole section is just going over what was the problems with ducks and geese and just the whole waterfowl system in general. And so then we can take a look at what's been done to improve that. So it reads, next step, using that information to get our ducks in a row. These were all pain points that affected a large amount of our player base, from beginners to experts, so we use them to inform our goals for the waterfowl rework. Unify the geese and duck behaviour under a singular waterfowl behaviour codebase. Convert waterfowl to use home ranges and need zones akin to all other animals in the Hunter Call of the Wild. Create persistence in waterfowl individuals and groups of birds. Create variation within and between species of birds to differentiate their behaviours. Update flea behaviour for waterfowl. implement comprehensive gameplay feedback for waterfowl attraction, and make sure all of this works in a multiplayer environment with players hunting together. So just making sure that everything still works in multiplayer and there's no weird bugs by the sound of it. A lot of really interesting stuff there, and lots of really good stuff. It's good to see all of that feedback being used to improve everything. Now, this clip was then included after that piece of text, and it shows a duck being able to swim at it looks like a different-ish speed to normal. It's a bit faster, and then sort of almost running on the ground there, and actually being able to transition between the two, so they're not just only on water like ducks used to be, and they're not just constantly swimming in a very slow sort of constant pattern. And if they can sort of like run like this on the ground, I would imagine that's part of their fleeing animation maybe. It's really interesting to see, and it's really cool to see this kind of behind the scenes like work on how things are being coded and that. I think it's really cool personally. And so I've just got this little clip sort of playing on repeat here that was posted to the site, and like I said, really cool to see. Of course, this is like the dev build, so that's why they can see all the stuff on screen. And I just think it's really cool to actually see a duck being able to go between land and water, finally, in Call of the Wild. It just adds to that realism that we're all looking for, rather than them just being these boring, static creatures that they just float around on the water and, oh, oops, I missed it with the 22. Now it's going to fly slowly in one direction and I'm just going to pop it out of the air with the 22, which is something we've all been used to for a very, very long time. And I can imagine there's people that aren't going to be happy that these now are going to be more challenging, but I definitely am, because it's going to add to their trophy value overall. Now, the next section read, you want upcoming improvement specifics, right? Details. Well, here are a couple of nuggets I can drop. All waterfowl can land on both land and water and transition between them, which is what we just saw. So yes, the decoys have been updated so they can be placed anywhere. All waterfowl have their own style, including flight altitude, approach vector, flee behaviour, formations, etc. And there is variation between the individual birds within a group, so they won't be coming down in perfectly choreographed formations. Waterfowl will let out specific calls when they have been attracted, so players will know when they have successfully lured birds. As a whole, waterfowl have been sped up, so they are more challenging now, with some species being easier to hit than others. There is a higher ceiling on the waterfowl gameplay. Finally, waterfowl will always land into a headwind, so you can set up your blinds to shoot them according to the wind direction. Aside from the waterfowl rework, there is overall a lot of attention and love in the details. One such example is that ducks now bob along the water surface, and there was another clip from within the development build which we can take a look at now, and you'll actually see how the ducks now move along the water, which is really, really, really cool to see, and just yet another detail that was really awesome to see. I do really love this whole dev diary idea, because seeing stuff like this from behind the scenes is really cool, and I think overall it helps to inform the community what is being worked on, how it's being worked on, and it just shows things a lot easier. And as a side note, I have to say I absolutely love the fact that the ducks have little names above them. That really did make me chuckle when I was looking at it. I thought it was really quite sweet. But overall, awesome. We got to see some awesome stuff on stream today. We've seen some really cool stuff from the developer diary, which is a new thing. So overall, absolutely awesome. And once again, I am even more hyped now for Revontuli Coast. It's just every week, I'm getting more and more excited, which I don't think, can be possible, after what they've shown the previous week. So I'm just super, super excited for this map, guys. I think it's going to be really awesome. Hopefully we will see a trailer or something soon. There is still no confirmed release date. There is no confirmed early access or early access dates. I saw some rumours going around talking about both of those things. No, there's no confirmed release date, no confirmed early access dates, nothing is confirmed yet. So if you got basically stay tuned and wait until they have the dates to give us, effectively. So it does look like there will be another stream next Tuesday talking about, again, Revontuli Coast, and again, it was sounding like Jaxie Beard will be taking a look at the geese species, so the bean goose, the Greylag goose, and the Canada geese, so that will be really, really super interesting. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope this has been a useful wrap-up for you guys, giving you all the information you could possibly need from both the 2-hour-long stream and the development diary. And yeah, I really hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for your support as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.